I hate this track. And welcome to this track guide on the just newly added Paul Ricard. If you like concrete car park track or you are French, then this one is for you. It's a very hard track to learn and hard to master, with many technical corners where you need to be patient and have very late apexes. But hopefully, with this guide I can help with that. I'm using the BMW today, with default setup, so no fancy setups or anything. Default setup seems to be already pretty nice here. I've updated the electronic settings to make the car rotate better and still be stable. If the car is unstable on braking, put the brake balance of the car a couple clicks more to the front. If the car is unstable under acceleration, increase the TC and TC cut. Today we will not only be talking about general braking points and track limits, but also about pit entry and exit, do's and don'ts, and overtaking opportunities. Hopefully this guide will help you with mastering this track. A quick note is that this guide doesn't use brake boards or distance markers. These are often destroyed during a race at Paul Ricard, leaving you blind. Instead we rely on permanent landmarks like curbs or surface roads to ensure your reference points remain reliable lap after lap. Coming up to turn 1, you want to be all the way on the outside of the track, on the red and white curb. Watch for where the curb ends and brake exactly at that point. Brake hard in a straight line and trail brake towards the red and white curb. You can go all the way over the curb, even a little bit more than the white line, and you will only get a green track limit warning. Don't come out too wide at turn 1, as you need to sacrifice the exit of turn 1 for turn 2, because there's a fairly long straight after that. On exit, go only to right about here, so you have a better angle for turn 2. For turn 2, you can go all the way over the curb again, keeping 2 wheels within the white line. You can lift while on the curb to rotate the car, and after the curb, smash the throttle again for that little bit more rotation. On exit, go all the way on the red and white curb, but keep 2 wheels within the white line. After turn 2, on the straight, follow the curb and edge of the track, but make sure that you don't go over the white line, as you will instantly get yellow track limit. For turn 3, stay all the way on the outside blue AstroTurf and watch for the orange barrier. You need to brake when you have just passed it. Brake hard and come off the brake fast, aiming for the red and white curb. You can go all the way over the curb, keeping 2 wheels within track limits. Track limits can be a little bit inconsistent here. Sometimes you get away with going over the line and sometimes you don't. You can carry way more speed in than you think, because the second part of braking will be done at turn 4. Do a little bit of throttle in between turn 3 and 4, and just before you hit the red and white curb, go on the brakes again. Don't brake too hard. Go all the way over the red and white curb and use all of it to rotate the car and straighten the corner out. You can use a little bit of trail braking to rotate the car even more here. You need to use the inner part of the curb to pull you inside. Some people stay on the curb and use the inner lower part to hook the tire in. You can go on the throttle fairly early here and come out around here. You don't need to set up the car all the way to the left for turn 5, as you don't need a good exit out of the track, because turn 6 is just after it. After turn 5, when the car is straight, go on the brakes, not too hard, and trail brake and coast the car to the red and white curb. You can go all the way over it, but keep 2 wheels within the white line. When you are on the curb, go on the throttle again, but watch out for oversteer. Try to lean on the TC. Try to get most of the rotation done before hitting the curb, to accelerate in as straight as possible line. On exit, go all the way on the red and white curb, keeping 2 wheels within track limits. After a short acceleration burst, lift the throttle again and aim for the red and white curb. I don't like to go all the way over it, because it unsettles the car, but see what works for you. You can use the curb to rotate the car here. When on the curb, use the throttle to rotate the car even more on exit. You can go a little bit wide on exit, but don't overdo it, as you need to set the car up for turn 7. Try to bring the car back to the right and turn in hard to the left, clipping the red and white curb. On exit, use all of the curb again, keeping 2 wheels within track limits. Track limits can be pretty harsh here. This corner should be easy flat. If you're not flat through here, you are doing something wrong. This exit is very important because of the very long straight after it. This whole corner sequence is fairly difficult, and you have to input a lot of things after each other. There are also not many references for braking. My suggestion is that you take your time and find a rhythm that works for you. Look into the distance to see where the apex is and use that as a reference point. Study my input and lines for this one closely. What you also need to study closely is that you ram that like and subscribe button. For turn 8, don't go on the blue AstroTurf for braking. There's a big red and white curb which unsettles the car. Use this curb as a braking reference and brake where the curb begins. Brake hard and trail brake towards the red and white curb. You can brake a bit to the outside of the track to open up the corner more. After the curb, go immediately on the throttle, but don't come out too wide. You should come out right around here and sacrifice your exit for turn 9, as there's a big straight after it. After that short acceleration, brake and coast towards the curb. You can downshift to first for extra rotation, but upshift before you accelerate again. When you are on the curb, start accelerating again and open up the steering wheel, so that you come out on the red and white curb. Use all of it, so you don't have to rotate the car as much, but watch out for track limits at the white line. Now coming up to the fastest corner of the circuit. Place the car all the way on the outside and watch for the red and white curb. Your turn-in point is about 10 meters after it begins. Turn the car in and after that lift off the throttle. You can even use a tiny bit of brake. You can use quite a lot of curb here without track limit issues, but it can make the car unstable. Try to use all the track on the outside. Track limits are lenient and a little bit hit or miss here. Sometimes you get away with going wide and sometimes you don't. If you go wide here, go immediately on track again to minimize the chance of getting track limits. If you want to be safe, stay within the white line here on exit. This corner can be quite difficult in mid-engine cars. If it is too unstable, stay on throttle a tiny bit. Turn 11 is a very long 180-degree right-hander. Stay all the way on the red and white curb and 10 meters before it ends, turn in and brake hard. Don't brake too hard for too long, as you need all the grip for cornering. As you can see, I come off the brake fairly fast. This corner is a double apex. You need to hit the first apex at the inside curb, then drift wide all the way to the outside of the track and come back to the red and white curb. Here you can see it again from above. We hit the first curb, drift all the way to the outside of the track and then rotate the car back in to the red and white curb. We also downshift to second for more rotation and upshift again on acceleration. Don't go on the blue stuff in this corner, as you will have massive understeer. Just before you hit the second apex, go on the throttle again and rotate the car on throttle, running all the way to the outside of the track on the curb. Traction can be quite difficult here, so try to lean on the TC and using a higher gear can also help. Go back to the right to set the car up for turn 12. This corner you have to practice your line and trust the car that it will turn in again late in the corner. Carry too much speed and you go very wide. Carry too little speed and you hit the second apex too early. Turn 12 is one of the most difficult corners of the game. Go all the way to the outside of the track and watch for the red and white curb on the left. Brake alongside it all the way towards the outside of the corner. Initially you can brake hard but trail off fast. You need an extremely late apex at this corner. At this corner I like to go very wide entry and brake hard initially. Coast in the mid phase and use some little more braking to bring the car back towards the apex. As an apex reference point during practice, you can use the cone here, but don't rely on it, as in the race it's always destroyed. It's a really difficult corner and you will mess up in the beginning, but try to focus on getting that very late apex. If you think you are doing a late apex, you're probably still doing it too early. At turn 13, stay all the way on the curb so you can open up the corner for the second to last one. When the curb ends, stay a little bit more on the blue line and then turn in and brake hard. Trail the brake fast, hugging the inside lower part of the curb to pull you in. You need to trail brake pretty deep into this corner. I like to do a little V shape here. So hit the apex, drift a little bit wide and bring the car back for the second apex. Accelerate on exit for extra rotation and bring the car back to the left. You don't want to drift out wide, because the angle for the last turn is very important, because of the straight after it. For turn 15, there's not really a brake marker. Use the apex as a reference point, so brake the car when you straighten out. Don't brake too hard, as you will understeer wide. For the apex, you can use a little bit of curb here, but some cars don't like it, so you can also go around it. On exit, it's important to get good traction because of the long straight. Use all of the curb here, but stay within track limits. They are strict here. This time was a 2:05.104. There's still more time in it, but I didn't bother with this lame ass track. These are the target lap times for each skill group on default setup. When you are just starting out in sim racing, you should aim for a 2:12. Someone who does lower tier daily or league racing should aim for around 2:08. Someone who does higher tier or daily league racing should aim for around 2:05. And the absolute aliens drive around 2:03.5. For pit entry, you want to take your normal racing line and brake at the same spot. Aim for the dotted pit entry line. You can cut this line, but make sure to not cross the solid line. Currently, in version 1.2, you need to be very careful to not go outside of the track here. If you do, you get a severe red track limit warning, which results in a drive-through.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa, what's a drive-through? That is so wrong, man. That is so wrong.
Accelerate and brake just before the AstroTurf starts to turn red. For pit exit on warm tires, look for where the red and white curb ends and brake 10 meters before it. For pit exit on warm tires, you want to do about the same, but brake about 10 meters earlier. Be careful for understeer in these corners and take it just a little bit easier. This track has many overtaking opportunities, spread over the whole track because of all the late apexes. But the best one is at the chicane in sector 2. Here you have a big straight and a hard braking zone, with enough room for 2 cars. The second best overtaking opportunity is at the first corner. If someone defends the inside, you can swoop around the outside because you have the inside for turn 2.